we were really believing that by the time summertime hit and the warm weather came, because I think a report said that the warm weather kills the Rona.
Man.
So it's like, okay, all we need is some heat. That's why they didn't have it in Africa. You know what I'm saying? It was all kind of stuff when this thing first hit that people were saying.
Yeah.
And I believed a lot of that stuff because I thought black people were immune.
Man.
Because I'm
Yeah.
like, I ain't heard nothing about Africa. I'm good. And then them black people started catching it and like, wait a minute now.
Wait a minute.
What's
Hold
going on now? Hey. Wait a minute. We doing numbers now.
Yeah.
But the point is, out of everything that we've been through throughout this year, we still here. We still standing. We still finding ways to adjust. And that's just a testament to our strength, man. A lot of times you don't know how strong you are until you get popped in the mouth. And once you get that first hit, you're like, okay, I can deal with this.
Yeah.
I don't want it again, so I'm going to duck next time. I'm going to move.
Absolutely.
But I it's not going to kill me.
Yeah.
I can make the adjustment and roll with the punch.
Absolutely.
And keep it moving and figure it out. And like I said, we bad, man.
Yeah.
Black people are bad.
Absolutely, man, without a doubt.
Yes.
Power to the people. For real,
Man, we
for real.
bad for real.
And I think that we forget sometimes, man, as I'm, on my health journey, trying to make some goals. And my health journey is a little different than other people's.
Okay.
I don't, and maybe I should, but I don't necessarily start off with weight loss as much as, my end result, rather. I don't want my end result necessarily to be a goal weight per se. I want it to be a look. I want to have a certain look in the clothing that I want to wear. I don't want the bell shape. I don't want my shoulders little and my hips. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that. I'm trying to have more of the Dorito man look. But also have, because I'm trunk heavy. So naturally, my legs, my bottom half is going to be slightly thicker than probably the average guys anyway.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I can do something up
I don't
top
know where we're
to
going
avoid,
with this.
to avoid the bell shape. Well, I'm saying I ain't trying to make you weird. I'm just saying that ultimately, with keeping it with that energy, I find that there's a natural soreness or pain, or even basically to progress, your muscles have to tear down in order to be rebuilt. That's where I'm going with it. So I was getting to a point. I just did a little backstory with that.
Yeah.
Because I want people to know I am still dedicated. I'm working on it. But with that, the process is the muscles have to tear down in order to, allow for the growth of the muscle fibers, and that's what builds and gets mass. And when you say what you said, you think about it, man, that's what we've been dealing with. We're a lot stronger than we may realize because all of the different tear downs and pulling apart and all the different things that have happened to try to destroy us were actually giving us something to pull closer together, to bond tighter with. And if we would all get on the same page, I think that's what ends up causing a lot of issues on our side as a culture. We sometimes are so divided just because either the crab in the barrel mentality gets some, or like even when we talked about with LeBron, it's just people just have their favorites or their person in mind. So don't even mention them in the same sentence. And then you act like because I'm loyal to this person, I can't promote or help this person out. And, we a lot of times are the only culture, or at least the only ones that are seen being that way. Now, I'm not saying we all like that, because realistically, a lot of us behind the scenes support our own.
Right.
We even look for opportunities to do so. But I think that the image that's constantly conveyed and that's put out there is like we can't get along and we can't cooperate on nothing. But honestly, it's truthfully, to me, the greater the purpose, the greater the persecution. And our purpose here, man, is absolutely one that's great and one that's beyond what even the world has seen yet. Just inkling of us knowing our genius and knowing our history causes us to do great things. Imagine once we're actually enlightened to the point of understanding just how big and how deep our reach goes.
Yeah.
Man, it's going to be major.
I don't know where I seen this per se, but there was a meme that said, "Are you buried or are you planted?" You know what I'm saying? Each situation, you're in the dirt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But are you in there to stay or are you in there to grow?
Yeah.
So I think we got to understand that we're going to have to get a little dirt on us before we bust up out of that thing, and that's okay, because a lot of times we are so afraid to get anything on us. We're so afraid to go through anything.
That's good.
Brother Danny talked about this all the time. One of the brothers here at the church said a Christian is made for adversity. And when he first told me that, I didn't understand it right away until I started thinking about it, and I'm like, that's true. We go through a lot, but we made for this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As long as we can stand firm no matter what we're going through and we keep the faith, we good.
Yes,
and
sir.
we talked about this before. Everybody got faith until it's time to have faith.
Right.
Because the minute that you go through something, a lot of times you abandon what you claim you have, and you don't even think about it because your natural instincts kick in.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this year, man, no matter what, even if it broke you down a little bit, if you still standing, you still here, you a mother, shut your mouth.
I'm still
in church.
standing. I'm still strong.
Yes.
Yeah,
Man,
yeah. The
I mean,
Antoine Fisher moment.
Yeah,
man.
we strong, man, and that's just the way God made us, man.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And like you was talking about before, in this time, you had time to think. Everything was slowed down. I think that was for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, God had to do this on a global level because we was just moving too fast, doing too much.
Yeah.
And we needed to sit down for some months and really figure some stuff
Reassess,
out.
man.
And when things start coming back together, we should come out stronger than we were because we had that time.
Yeah, for sure. And I appreciate the fact that I do think that collectively we are making a lot of moves in the right direction. Like I'm seeing a lot of, and we mentioned this in times past too, man, a lot more entrepreneurs, or at least people with entrepreneurial endeavors, you know, and along the way, I would just ask, if you are an entrepreneur that got it together, please reach back and help some that are coming up along the way. Man. You know, there are a lot of times that missing link, you know, and it's difficult not knowing the journey. But when you got somebody that done went through it and been through it, that can just reach back and help. I ain't asking, you know, for no handout.
Right.
People aren't asking for a handout, but that's how you build a thriving community.
Yes.
You know, and when you have the knowledge and the know-how and the grit and all of the different things, and sometimes even in the end. Now, I ain't saying, you know, because unfortunately sometimes some people mess it up for the good ones.
Right.
Because, you know, it's hard to put your name on something or vouch for somebody, and then they just ruin it. It does leave a foul taste in your mouth, and you don't want to do it for anybody else. But, you know, just get to know people a little bit more and actually reach back and just try to help bring them up too. You know, we can build a lot more and do a lot more if we would do that, you know, as a community. And, you know, I feel what you said, man. I think that, you know, we were created for such greatness that sometimes, man, we can be intimidated by it, you know, in ourselves. You know, sometimes we can, you know, when the moment comes, we can be so scared because of, it's like we've only lifted this weight for so long. You know, we've carried this job for so long. We've done this for so long. It can become so confining to us that we don't even know the potential we actually have.
Right.
And it's frightening sometimes when we see just what we can do.
Right.
You know, when you actually see the capabilities, because you know that with that, there's more expectation. You know, with that, there's more responsibility.
Right.
You know, with that, there's more people that you could either benefit or harm. And it can be real intimidating. You know, so you can be scared of your own greatness because you just sometimes don't want to have that kind of responsibility or accountability with what you're gifted to do. But, you know, that's the important thing. And I always say, man, to lean on God and to have faith, because he is that bridge that helps you no matter what. And when you feel that you're not capable of doing something, he is absolutely that strength that pulls you up, that gives you that ability, that reaffirms within you that I called you to this, that I made you for this, that I created you fearfully and wonderfully, that I made you with a calling, I made you with a purpose. I intended for you to be great.
Right.
And so with that, man, I think that we really have to be able to plant both feet 10 toes down and be able to stand knowing that, man, there's greatness in us.
I think one of the saddest things is to see somebody who doesn't know their purpose. It's sad because when you get to a certain age, you should know your purpose, or you should at least be trying to figure it out.
Absolutely.
You know, but to walk around aimlessly, not knowing what you were made for, not knowing why you're here, that's sad, especially as a young black person. That's why, you know, my heart aches sometimes for our generation that's coming up, because it's like the focus is just totally different for them than it was for us. You know what I'm saying? And I have to really catch myself, because sometimes I react with anger because I feel like they should be on another level.
Yeah, you be an angry brother sometimes.
But I mean, because it's passion,
like
though. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand that God is giving you something great. You made it.
Your
you made it here.
Is aggressive.
Yeah, but you know,
passion,
it's genuine though. Even if it has a little aggression behind it, it's real. Because we go through so much, and so many people didn't make it. So it's like, it's almost like you have a responsibility, since you did make it, to do something. You can't just be here and not do anything. You can't be here and not try to figure it out. You know, and that's what hurts me more than anything, is when I see young people who have no clue or what it is that they're here for. And that's fine if you don't know right now, but at least try to seek to figure it out. Somebody challenged me years ago and said, what's your purpose? And I didn't have an answer at that time, but it bothered me enough that I wanted to figure it out. And that's the thing that I want. At least try to figure it out.
Absolutely.
I'm not gonna have it all right now. I don't have it all right now. But if we're on the journey to figure us out, we can be better, and it's our responsibility to do that. Because, like I said, so many people didn't make it. So many people sacrificed so we could be here.
Right.
So we owe them enough to at least try to figure it out, try to have some purpose, and do something great with the time that you have.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, you know, we don't generally like to like challenges. We don't generally like adversity, but man, I got to tell you, man, it's something refreshing about knocking a challenge out the park. You know what I'm saying? It's something that's just so revitalizing to just who you are when you eat a challenge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it just gets you just driven to the point, man. And I think that's the greatest time to really pick up something. You know, when you just got completed eating up a challenge. You know, a lot of times people want to just sit on the sidelines. They're like, okay, I'm good. I done got over this.
Yeah.
But, man, that's like the best time because your momentum, man. You
Right.
you were forced in at that point.
Yep.
And it's like, man, that's just such a beautiful feeling when you just bodied whatever it was that was going against you and you made it through. And it's a testament to just the resilience that you have. Man, I find a saying to be true, man, and it says it like this. It says a man's station is only limited by his imagination. You know, and so a lot of times, man, if you can think it realistically, you can do stuff.
Right.
You know, I don't pretend to act like I'm an expert in anything, but there's always some kind of option to help along the way with information, with wisdom, and even if, like we said earlier, if it ain't somebody that's trying to help you get there, there are so many resources that can help you get there. We want to do it on our culture and we want to do it for our own people, but sometimes that's not the way.
Right.
And if that's not the way, then you be that person,
Yep.
you know, that paves the way and that brings somebody along and brings somebody up. But it's a wonderful time that we live in, even despite all the challenges that allow us to get to a place where we can really start setting up generational wealth, generational education, you know, wisdom and understanding how to handle lifelong experiences and even things like credit, you know, things we didn't know growing up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure did.
We didn't understand that. You know, we had bills in our head, you know what I'm
Right.
saying, at 7.
Sure did.
Like, you know, and it's like, you know, and it's based on the time. Sometimes your parents or those that were in charge, you just did the best they knew how.
They knew how, right.
So now, and it's no blame or no shade because all of that still had something to do with who we are now. You know, all of those things that you went through and that you can look back and say, man, this happened. It wouldn't put you where you are now if that didn't happen.
Right.
Right? But it's like we have the rare privilege of not only having those experiences, but also being connected to just a wealth of information and accessibility.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, if we don't do it realistically, you have no excuse,
excuse.
to not be great and not
Yep.
to do something. And what I found, even back to the conversation we were having, man, with LeBron and, you know, how people will just never put him in the same category, I found that greatness a lot of times is measured against your contemporaries. You know, your level of greatness is measured against who else is great at that time and your ability to surpass even what they're doing. You know, because without a shadow of a doubt, I don't think anybody can disrespect the fact that LeBron is in the top 3. Like you always have that conversation, you know, but I think that the thing that a lot of people ride on Jordan about is because the league was much more aggressive in his day. So with his contemporaries and who he faced off with, you know, he faced off in the era of the Kareems, even though he was much older, you know, by then, he faced off against them in their, you know, in kind of their twilight years, I'll say, but he still faced them nonetheless. And so you're going to naturally elevate him because the people he was against probably had much greater records behind them, you know, and so I think that's part of what we sometimes miss when it comes down to achieving greatness. We don't look at who we're compared to. I don't want to be the tallest short person, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
everybody around me is short people, you know what I'm saying? I want to try to be around people that actually stack up against me and that it will push me towards greatness, you know, and I think that that's something that allows us to get too caught up. We get too fixated on being the best of this circle,
Right.
but this circle really ain't about nothing.
Well, you know my saying, change your circle, save your life.
Yeah.
And that's so important because if you're surrounded by a bunch of people that's not pushing you to do nothing, you need to get out of that circle.
Facts.
For real. If you're the only person, and that's for anybody at home, if you're the only person in your circle that's motivated, if you're the only person in your circle that's doing something, get out of that circle immediately because you're going to stay in the same position you're in if, like you said, if you the best of the worst.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to aspire to be better, and sometimes
Absolutely.
that means getting outside of your comfort zone and getting around other people that's somewhere that you're aspiring to be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing I learned, like, man, whoever I'm surrounded by, they got to be doing something, because I don't want to be around nobody that ain't doing anything.
For real.
And it's not motivated, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to get those moments where I'm not going to be motivated. And if I ain't got nobody who can help push me, then we just all sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah.
We might as well be in front of the liquor store drinking 40.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know
You
why I went there with
I
that.
don't either. That was
You know, I just
reach.
Yeah.
That's-
I mean, I'm just saying, I just equated doing nothing to taking it to the 90s where you sat on in front of the liquor store with a 40-ounce.
It was just
paper
interesting that they
bag.
just like that.
I don't know
like
why
he was almost like he was thinking
society
about
is
it.
just popping in my head right
Oh, that's
now.
what it is. Okay.
I don't know. It's
That was
just
an old dog
some
moment. huh?
90s nostalgia coming in my head right now.
Yeah.
St. Ives.
Uh-huh.
You
Yeah.
know,
Okay.
Old English, Old Milwaukee.
Okay. Yeah. Me and my brother, we used to play a game when we was in the car, because they used to have the Bulls. They had the Red Bull and they had the Blue Bull.
Uh-huh.
You know, so we used to play a game like whenever we were driving, and we would just punch each other whenever we saw one or the other. You know, you create any game you can in the car.
All the games got to be violent, though.
Because that's like, man, growing up in the 80s and stuff, man, we, had
We
rock
like to
fights.
punch people, yeah.
Man, yeah, listen, we it was a generation that endured some stuff.
Yeah,
You know, so everything had a hint of violence and
Right.
danger to it, you know.
Even with the girls.
Yeah.
We used to punch the girls and wrestle with the girls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we was just violent.
You catch a case nowadays,
No,
right?
yeah,
can't
you will, for real.
and do none of that now. But yeah, when you said that, that reminded me of that, man. I was like, dude, we used to have like just the most random moments when it came down to things to do.
Yeah.
You know, when you a kid, man, and that's one thing I appreciate, man. I appreciated the boredom that we grew up with.
Yeah.
We didn't have access to a whole lot, but
Nope.
man, we created some memorable
Yes.
times.
Yeah.
Man, like you created some memorable just out of nothing.
Nothing.
You know, like we made a rap group because we had a talk boy.
Yep.
You know, me and Gio, he had to
Me
slow
and
down
Gio.
and pick up. Remember Tag Team? They had their instrumental only.
Uh-huh.
Did all
Uh-huh.
that searching. Whoop, there it is.
I wish we still had that tape, man. It would be so good to listen to
Man,
11 and 12-year-old John and Anthony rapping over Whoop There It Is instrumental.
yeah. Yeah,
And
that'd
the
be
name
funny.
of the song was called Life in the 90s.
Life in the 90s.
Life in the 90s.
Life in the 90s.
That was our first single.
That was hilarious.
And
And,
it
then we
went-
evolved
it
into
went
Brothers
nowhere.
of Faith. Man, there wasn't nobody checking for us, man.
No.
Like, we was trash.
Couldn't get signed.
Man, wasn't nobody looking. We did a remix to the Dare songs. Every school used to have
yeah?
to do Dare songs, so you had to do something for Dare. Drug
programs.
abuse, resistance, education. Yeah, we had all these different MC styles. Like everybody wanted to be an MC during that time.
Oh, yeah, because the 90s, that's
Yeah.
what everybody was doing.
Yep.
You had Crisscross. You had a lot of kid rappers. You had
Man,
ABC.
the backwards shirts.
Yes.
Dog.
That's what we aspired to be.
But ain't it a trip that like a lot of that stuff has just resurfaced?
Mm-hmm.
It's wild. Like that stuff that now, you didn't think about it then because like what was cheap then is
Yeah.
like busting now.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like it's funny that all of those things have just reemerged and resurfaced
Yeah.
and they're vintage and all this stuff
Yeah.
like that. I was like, dude, that's hilarious to me.
You know, the thing that blew my mind the most was Champion.
Dude.
Like, coming up, Champion
That
was
was the
not...
Kmart brand.
Yeah, it wasn't what it is now, obviously. You got Champion gear on there, you got a little status. But
Yeah.
back then, that just wasn't what it was. It was just athletic gear.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't stuff that people was rocking like they rock now. And I'm not going to pay the prices of 2020 for Champion.
Bruh.
When I grew up in the area where Champion was $24.99. So
For the
I'm
whole
going to
jogging suit.
Yes, I'm not paying no $80 for no
And the
Champion
shoes.
shirt. Yeah.
$24.99 for a
Not-
three-piece. You had a
not doing
three-piece
this.
grown-up set.
Yes.
Hanging up on a hanger like the onesies for the
Listen, Kmart, man.
Kmart had everything
Target.
in one pack on one hanger.
Yep.
You had the shirt, the pants, and the shoes.
Yep.
$24.99.
Had some socks in the pocket.
For $24.99, I had the whole setup. Yeah.
$30 got you a lot of clothes back in the
Bruh,
90s.
For real. They didn't last past about 6 washes,
No.
but, it was cheap.
It
so
was
it's like,
cheap.
you did what you had to, man.
Listen, I was the king of Bugle Boy.
Dude.
I don't know if you remember Bugle
Yes,
Boy jeans.
I remember Bugle Boy jeans.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was the king of Bugle
I
Boy.
remember Bugle Boy. I remember
Frosty
Jordache.
jeans.
I remember the Jordache jeans.
Yes.
Man. Yeah. that a
Fashion
lot
was
of-
different then.
It
man.
was, but it's hilarious that now all of that stuff is making a comeback. And it's nothing new under the sun. And
Nothing
ultimately,
new.
everything comes back around one way or the other. So yeah, it is. I think overall, man, we all have that one thing that we can remember. That kind of just steps up and causes you to be able to push back. And honestly, some of those moments, man, made you who you are now.
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like that's something that, and I don't want to generalize or take away from what happens in this generation, because it's a great generation.
Oh, yeah.
But I sometimes my heart goes out to the fact that part of what makes them give up quicker is because everything else is moving so fast anyway. So they never get an attachment to anything. And it's hard to be committed to something that you're not attached to.
Right.
And so I feel like, man, that's the one thing that sometimes makes my heart, soar a little bit, because we had even just now, we had all these things that are memorable, and it framed like your whole childhood.
Yeah.
And you rarely hear a lot of people talk about their childhood now.
That's
it's just
facts.
it's on to the next, and
Yeah.
whatever's current, whatever's new, and that's sometimes what makes my heart bleed a little bit, man.
Especially when you look at summertime. I know we probably didn't see much of it now because of COVID, but in past summers, just driving around the city, you didn't really see the childhood that we had. It wasn't the same. You didn't see a bunch of kids on bikes, you know what I'm saying, riding somewhere. You didn't see a bunch of kids outside jumping rope, you know what I'm saying, playing freeze tag and Mother May I and all those games that we made up, and bubblegum in the dish. You didn't see that. And you don't see that because technology is just taking over, and kids don't even go outside no more. They just sit in the house and be on their electronics.
I gotta believe also, man, there was such covering grace for us growing up, because I'm thinking about, I was laughing over here because I remember I was over your house, we had that water fight, and it was like sewer water.
Oh, man.
It was like sewer water that backed up,
Flooded.
but for us it was just a water fight.
Man.
So we out there in this contaminated,
Swimming. We all in the street swimming in dirty water.
this deep, dirty, nasty old water. And we out here just having the time of our life with buckets, out there with swimming trunks on,
somebody
and everything
down
else.
the street was riding through on a garbage can. They
Bruh.
it made a boat. That was fun to us. We didn't understand.
Dude.
This water is disgusting.
Right. That's probably why I ain't got no eyebrows. That's probably the moment right there. That moment right there probably is
the
what did
90s.
it. Yeah, it's just now catching up.
The
This
summer of
moment.
'93 when the street flooded and we played in that nasty
That's when
water.
it started thinning, right then and there. But there was definitely some grace on our life because of that.
Yeah.
I just thought about that. I was like, man, that was nasty.
Listen, man, if you drank out of a water hose growing up, then you can just withstand about just anything. You know what I'm saying? Because
That should be
a
what they
water
test.
hose, man.
That should be what they test. Maybe that's what would cure COVID. Like test the
Test the water hose kids.
Yeah, the hose water. That's probably because it was so refreshing and revitalizing, and man,
all
that
the
probably
vitamins.
would be it. Yeah, like that. Everybody just got to go and just go do their own thing with that hose water.
Yes.
That's probably the cure, and we don't even know it. Because people too bougie now to plug up the hose and drink water out of it.
You don't know what was crawling in that water hose, but you drunk that water.
And nothing hit like it.
Just tearing that water up.
You probably tasted more of the hose than you did the water,
Right.
but that's what gave it the flavor. There's a little seasoning on the inside of the hose, but man, it was good.
Listen, we used to eat off the ground.
Yep. 10-second rule. It wasn't
Listen,
5.
you go to the store, you drop that popsicle on the ground. You ain't finna just look at it, you scooping it up.
Yep, lick and spit until you get to the clean
And
part.
Kool-Aid.
Keep going.
Remember Kool-Aid? That was
Still
the
make Kool-Aid.
most delicious. No, I'm talking about
Oh, the
the
Fun
dry
Dip?
Kool-Aid.
Talking about the Fun Dip, or
No,
when you used to
I'm
make the
talking about
packs?
make the packs of Kool-Aid.
yeah, you take the Kool-Aid
The
and the
concept of Kool-Aid was nasty, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Because it was one person that had Kool-Aid. There was a
Yep.
Kool-Aid person.
Ugh.
They had a big bag of Kool-Aid. They bit a hole in it, and then they shared it with you.
Yep.
And you didn't think for a second that, you
Nope.
eat, When we was tearing it up, just licking our hands. Never washed our hands. But we was licking our hands, touching everything, doing homework, touching book bags, still eating lunch.
Absolutely.
We didn't wash our hands back then.
No, just kept playing.
No, kept playing.
Yeah, the dirt covered it up, and then
Yes.
eventually the dirt wore off. That was it. So you had to worry about it.
Listen,
That was great.
man. If you can survive all that,
disgusting,
you
man.
can survive anything.
Oh
man.
yeah, absolutely.
For
Yeah,
real,
we built
for
a
real.
little different.
Yeah, we
built
was
a little
built different
man. We
back
was built
then.
a little different.
Yeah.
But you don't know what you don't know. And it's that naivety, man, sometimes benefited us, man, because it caused you to be adventurous, and
Yep.
sometimes, and that's the point I wanted to make. I think that it's never a bad thing to get wisdom and to get understanding, but when you become so much of a know-it-all, you miss the opportunity to actually embrace the newness of learning new stuff. For us, our naivety actually was a benefit because we didn't know no better. We just did stuff with reckless abandon.
Right.
But honestly, that was also just something that taught us the experiences that life gives.
Yeah.
And you deprive yourself of that sometimes because you get so many defenses against it because of what your intellect or your knowledge and stuff says. And it's a lot of times now where people think they know everything,
Right.
and it makes you miss out on the opportunity to actually experience life
Yeah.
and actually be able to be involved in stuff.
That's
man.
true, and even with the not so good things, because thinking about childhood growing up, you know, how many times has it been that you had to learn through error? When I say that, catching a bus. Like, we didn't have cell phones. We had a pay phone, and half the time we didn't have no change for the pay phone.
Exactly.
So, but we went everywhere on the city bus, but everybody that had that experience where they done missed they stop and they got lost, they done cry, I don't know where I'm at, mama, you know what I'm saying? But it made us stronger. Our kids now, they don't know that. You know what I'm saying? You don't know the fear of being on a city bus and you don't know where it's going.
Nope.
You have no clue
Yep.
how to get to your house because you was given 2 instructions. Take this bus to this bus.
Yep.
But something happened where you
Along
fell
the way.
asleep or something,
Yep.
and now you out
Sleep.
here lost.
Man, sleep got me to the end of the line on the bus
Man.
many a day.
And that fear, just
Yeah.
like you just think I ain't never gonna get home. My mama don't know where I'm at.
Nope.
You know, it was just a whole different generation, man.
Yeah.
If we put our kids back then,
That would
just
be
drop
interesting.
them in that era
Yeah.
and say, figure it out. I don't know if they would make it, bro.
Yeah, without a phone, without
No
GPS.
No
No
GPS.
GPS, no thing that told you where it was at in advance
No.
except for a phone book. 'Cause
Yes,
we had to find
phone
addresses
books.
in the phone book.
Yes.
You know, and then based on that address, our parents gave us a layout. Go here. You're
Go
going to get off
here.
the bus. You're going to go left. You're going to go down the street. And it's going to be right there with a
Right.
big red sign. And it's going to
Yes.
say Mr. L's.
Yep.
So it's like everything had the directions right there. That would be an interesting challenge. We got to work
Man.
on doing that.
Dude, that
Like,
would be hilarious.
yeah, we got to work on doing that. I think that would be something that would be so dope just to have
Yes.
that challenge of seeing. Like, okay, y'all know everything. Okay, we're going to put y'all back a few decades
Man.
and see how it was when we had to do it.
Give them a task.
Yeah.
Like, okay, can you get here? And we're going to do this old school. You can't use your phone.
Yep.
You can't do any of that.
Dude.
But you got to somehow make it to here.
Dude, it ain't even just the destination of places. It's also just the fact that the phone does everything now. You know,
Yep,
calculators,
everything.
everything, homework.
But you can't use it. Do you think they'll make it? We
Dude.
got to try that, dude.
Yeah.
When things
I'll
get
be
better, I
interested
want
to
to
see
try that. I want our kids, we're going to give them a destination. They can't use their phone
Yep.
to see if they make it.
Yep.
And, I mean, obviously nothing's bad going to happen to them because if something bad, they can just ask their
Yep.
person, whoever
We're
they're
going
on
to
the
write
bus
out the
with.
grocery
Yeah.
list. We're going to
But
like
yeah.
everything. It ain't going to be no phones at all.
Nothing.
'Cause everything had to be
I want
written
to see
out.
if they can do it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I want to see if they can go to the library and find a book without looking it up or typing it in the old school way.
Man, with the
the
cards,
cards.
had the index cards, you had to look through them and see which ones it was.
Because I'm
Man.
38, and I know now if I go on the city bus, I got to sit behind the bus driver. Because I don't know how to catch the bus no more. So I'm, hey, bus driver, can you call out my stop, please? That's me
That's
at
you now.
38. I'm sitting right behind the bus driver. He got to call my stop out.
I don't know where I'm at no more.
I don't know how to get to my house from here on no bus.
Yeah, you out of
know how?
practice. You out of practice. That's why.
But do you know how?
Man, I don't remember the routes, man.
But
West
you will
Dallas,
figure it out, though.
I will figure it out, but West Dallas didn't exist. Milwaukee is the only city that existed when we were growing up. We didn't go to Wauwatosa and West Dallas and Greenfield
That
and
was
all
out
that.
of
man.
town.
Yeah, that was that was a field trip, man. We was just Milwaukee. That was it.
Yes,
So
South
we didn't
side,
go
North
nowhere,
side,
bruh.
Tatonia Capital.
Everything was within a couple miles.
Yes.
That was it. So if you didn't have it within a couple miles, you didn't go there.
No,
you know, we
that's
had
true.
the grocery stores, the corner stores,
Yeah.
the library. Everything was right there.
Everything was
you didn't have
right
to go
there.
nowhere. You went to school locally.
Yep.
Like, everything was right there, man. We didn't have all these different areas. Shoot, man.
No.
So yeah, I never had to take the bus to West Dallas, but yeah, I could figure it out.
Right.
You know, so that's the thing. It's
But
like
but
how
you
to
can figure it out based on that upbringing where you know not to panic. You're going to figure this out.
Yeah.
Just get your bearings, calm down, dry your eyes.
Yeah.
You're going to get home.
And yeah, just the basics. I mean, that's part of why even like we know how to do certain stuff like directions.
Right.
You know, I don't know when directions became a foreign language.
Man.
But these kids don't be knowing like no directions
No,
anymore.
where you live? I don't know.
Yeah, it's by the, you know where Chick-fil-A is?
Which one?
Like, exactly. That's the follow-up question. Like, we don't know. You can't describe to me where you live,
don't
so
know
if
where
you
you
get
live?
lost, you're going to be lost. So in this project, we got to figure out what's the backup or the contingency of how to find them.
Yeah.
Because they can get so lost, they're going to have an episode and they're going to get picked up by the police because they're going to be on the side of the road.
Right.
I don't know what's going to happen to them. So it's going to be fun to see what the end result is.
We'll
But
see some
for
18-year-olds break down
Yeah.
they don't know.
because we at least knew, okay, this goes east and west.
Yeah.
This goes north and south. At some point, they're going to meet.
Right.
So if I live here, then I know, you can figure the stuff out. Man, I'd be hard pressed to ask, and I think I'll ask my kids the next time we're in the car, I'm gonna be like, what direction we traveling in?
Oh, they ain't going to know.
They ain't gonna know.
They're going to look at their phone.
Yeah. Or at the little panel on the car that says what direction
North,
we're going
yep.
in. Yeah. So I don't know how we got all the way over here,
I
but
don't
we just
know
completely
either.
off topic.
But we kept that same energy.
We kept that. See, man, that's why
You
you,
kept that
man.
same energy.
Kept that same energy. We was focused. We looked like we knew what we was doing. But you know, in regards to just everything that is going on, even with the rest of this year, man, because we are in an important crossroads. You know, just bringing it back to full circle. You know, we had an important crossroads, man. And you mentioned something earlier. We kind of glazed over it, but you know, a lot of the younger people this year, man, they don't want to vote. They don't want, you know, they don't have no hope or anything in anything. Yeah. And I just want to encourage them, you know, to still, you know, keep the same energy that our forefathers, you know, ancestors, everybody else, they had to fight, give their lives for, you know what I'm saying, just for the opportunity to be able to do it. And I know, man, it's like, you know, you like lost between who to do it for, but just exercise that constitutional right. Man. You know, and I want to really just let our young people let that resonate. You know, because there's so much that was costed, and that vote cost a lot, man. And you know, if nothing else, keep the energy for the ones that put it down before you. You know, and at the end of the day, nobody else knows what you did anyway. You know, it's between you and that ballot.
Whatever
but
you do,
at least do your part.
Do it,
man. Do your part. Do your part, because it's, man, we in for whatever. Whoever wins, we in for an adversity, we in for some challenges, we in for some stuff. And if there was ever a moment for you to keep the focus on the positivity, to have a plan, to start putting some things in action, it's now. Because no matter who's in charge, they may not have your best interest at heart.
Exactly.
You know, so it's between God, you know, putting our trust in him and doing our best to do make this 2020 whatever we can make it the rest of the way, and you know, stacking the deck for 2021.
There's a young man that's been circulating, and I didn't pay closer attention to it, so I can give you the exact information, because he's rapping about the vote. And I don't know if you've seen this. He's a young guy. I think he has blonde hair. But anyway, he's talking about the presidential nomination and how things, it's not just with the presidents, it's with the legislative and,
absolutely,
and, you know, other things that we just don't think about. You know what I'm saying? All we think about is president.
Right.
But he was like,
not
this
the
other forms of government that we've passed up that we need to start paying attention to. That way we don't have to feel like when it comes to this, we don't know what we're doing.
Yellow Pain, my vote don't count.
Yes, that guy, I would encourage everybody, if you can share his information, to check him out, because I got educated by what he was saying, because I'm like, man, he right. I don't even think about this no more. I only think about the presidential thing. And, you know, for anybody who's questioning the vote right now, whether you should do it or you shouldn't do it, pay attention to this young man, and I think that'll help out with that decision, because
that's what's up.
He's spitting that truth.
His name is
putting
Yellow.
It back on us.
His name is Yellow Pain, no W in yellow, all one word. So that's YELLOPAIN. It's YELLOPAIN. The name of the song is My Vote Don't Count.
Right. For anybody who's thinking that, and this goes personally to my daughter, check this out. You felt like your vote don't count, listen to him if you haven't already done that, and I think you'll see things a little bit differently.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out.
I was very shocked, like, wow.
Yeah, one of the top comments said he just taught me more than school does, so I'm excited to listen to this and check it out.
Yeah,
you know, and see what's to it. But yeah, absolutely, man. Let's keep our mind and, you know, put our focus on and, you know, do what we can, man. It's an interesting time. You know, I'm not going to say that it's bad because it's not over.
Right.
You know, and so with that, now we just got to dig down, keep that same energy that got you motivated and driven in the first place, put the pedal to the metal, you know what I'm saying, and just make sure that whatever you can do to be great and to do greatness, you do that.
And just keep, like you said, keep that same energy. Whatever you started in the midst of this pandemic, after this pandemic is over, keep that same energy. Absolutely. Do not let up. Do not go back to whatever you were doing before that wasn't positive. Keep that same energy. If you're supposed to be an entrepreneur, keep being an entrepreneur. Don't stop that, because, listen, we on to the next, and we're going to come out of this thing better than we went in it.
Man,
so
for real.
Keep that same energy.
Let me say this to all the fellow entrepreneurs out there. Get your tax stuff together. Listen, don't start 2021 off almost behind bars, all right? Take this time and this effort to get your tax stuff together. Figure out what you got to do, man. Do not let, because I'm like, man, they seem like they're a little bit slack right now because they're trying to figure out everything, but listen, all these entrepreneurs and pop-up shops, man, 2021, they're going to be trying to hawk people.
Oh, yeah.
So please do your due diligence. Yeah, man, make sure you're good. It's just like the city was. You know, the city was chilling on tickets, and, man, when they lifted that ban, they was at everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I think it might be reinitiated now, but, dude, them parking checkers was added.
Oh, yeah.
That's how IRS probably going to be in 2021. But, like, man, we noticed a lot of income coming in as far as their expenses and stuff. So, hey, do the right thing.
Do it.
All right, do the right thing. Listen, it's been a great episode, man.
Yes, good
we
one.
had a good time. We had a chance to go down memory lane.
Yeah.
You know, and bring stuff back full circle. I have been John.
And this is Tony Cole.
All right, and we're signing off for another week of A Long Way from Sunday.
All right.
God bless. Real quick. If you have not caught the previous episodes, because this is episode 5, okay? We have 4 more episodes now. I'm going to just put this little disclaimer out there. You can see us trying to grow each week. So, you know, there's some technical difficulties and some different things that happened along the way in some of the previous episodes. But great content, great dialogue. Our man Vic Damone, a.k.a. last week, the Deacon of the Dons, wasn't able to join us tonight, but he'll be back in full swing as well. We're going to keep it going. We're going to keep the content fresh. Again, if you have ideas, topics, things that you want to discuss or talk about or see us discuss and talk about, send it to us, inbox us, put it on the page. We'd love to discuss it. If you'd like to be a blessing and so on to what we're doing here, we do appreciate any denomination. I'm not going to tell you what to give, large or small. It helps us build our platform. So we do appreciate you in advance. You could do that by giving through the same platforms that the ministry receives. So Cash App is the $ IDC Give. Otherwise, you can give through Givelify by searching for International Deliverance Center. We want to thank you again for your time and tell you to have a blessed night. Peace.
Peace.